Hi there. This commentary on Binet Field's The Long and the Short of It is going to take two parts. This first part will cover the lessons that SMEs can take from the report. Although it's a study of big budget advertising, many of the principles can be scaled down and become effective for smaller organisations without such deep pockets. The second part will cover some of the problems with the report's data and the way it's presented. Some of it is really strange, and yet it is accepted without question. So let's dive into part one. The long and the short of it has become something of a staple in the marketing and advertising industries. Since Binet Field updated it last in 2013, its influence has been growing, convincing us all that we need to combine long-term brand building with shorter-term sales activation. And that itself is the first and most important lesson from the report. Successful marketing, and they define success in a variety of different ways, depends on a combination of long-term brand building campaigns to support long-term profit growth and shorter-term campaigns to generate sales. Although these aren't their charts, the concepts to fix in your mind are firstly that brand's contribution to your profit builds slowly over time. Its effects last beyond the active period of any campaign that promotes your brand, and we'll come on to the reasons why that's the case later. Short-term activities like lead generation produce results faster, but the results tail off much quicker as well. When you start subsequent lead generation campaigns in isolation, you're restarting nearly from zero. Success comes when you combine long-term brand building with short-term sales campaigns. The second lesson of the report is that long-term brand building should seek to build an emotional connection between customers and your brand. Feelings towards a brand are remembered far longer than any fact about it. This figure shows that emotional campaigns generate more profit in the long term, but they don't show immediate results. The reason being they're aimed at the entire total potential audience, and most of that audience is not in the market to buy at any given time. In this chart, the purple line shows results from emotional campaigns and the green line shows results from rational campaigns. Business people often worry when we talk about building emotional campaigns. Don't worry. We're not expecting customers to profess their undying love for our brands. What we're looking for is something like this, the Hiscox campaign, that despite Hiscox being a multi-billion pound enterprise, it convinced small and micro businesses that it was their best friend, at least in the insurance market. That's the type of emotional connection we're looking for. The third lesson from the report is, not surprisingly, that short-term sales campaigns should present rational messages. That's because they're aimed at the minority of a potential market who are actively purchasing at any given time. Short-term sales campaigns can have near immediate results on sales, but their long-term effects are much smaller. It's worth considering, and this is commentary, not part of the report, that short-term sales campaigns can have a bigger effect on long-term benefits and long-term profit in the business-to-business world than they do in the business-to-consumer world that Binet Field was studying. This is because the business-to-business world usually features more durable products that are purchased over a longer period of time. So it's quite easy to imagine that we might swap from one brand of bread to another in the business-to-consumer world, but it's less likely that we'd flippantly change from one accountant to another in the business-to-business world. The fourth lesson is that promotions often damage profit, and this is logical. Promotions that increase sales often reduce margin because they incorporate either promotional pricing or higher cost of sales. The most successful campaigns in the report were those that managed to increase sales while maintaining or increasing price as well. They didn't offer discounts. This won't come as a surprise to anybody who's studied the relative effect of price and sales quantity on profit. Despite that, it's always worth repeating the message. We spend so much of our time trying to increase sales volume that we forget it's profit that really makes the difference to our businesses. Relatively speaking, price has a stronger effect on profit than quantity. The fifth revelation in the report was that loyalty campaigns aren't a great way to generate extra sales. Now, loyalty campaigns are very popular, partly because we always think we need to run them, and partly because from a marketing perspective we like to run them because we can easily identify the target audience. It's our customer base. But what Binet Field found was that loyalty campaigns don't increase sales as much or as effectively as campaigns that are aimed at new customers. And if you think about it, that's quite logical. Our customer base might already buy as much of our product or service as they want or need, and therefore we can promote it till the cows come home, but they don't need any more of what we're selling. Despite this, the report does recognise that we'll carry on doing loyalty campaigns because they are so easy to do. And if a loyalty campaign doesn't help sales, well, we might at least hope that it increases brand value or brand equity. But then comes the question of how are you going to measure it? There's an interesting suggestion that there's only one metric that really matters when you're trying to measure loyalty, and that's price. If a customer sticks with you when you put up your price, he's loyal. If a customer sticks with you when a competitor drops their price, that's a loyal customer. If the customer sticks with you when a discount brand enters the market, that's a loyal customer. On a final note, it's worth wondering whether the picture has changed since Binet Field completed the last update in 2013. It promotes emotional campaigns heavily, and it's quite easy to see that most of the high-profile campaigns that have come out in the last 5 years or so have adopted that approach. But you can have too much of a good thing. Emotional advertising has become so pervasive and so cloying, culminating in the glut of quite horrific "we're there for you" COVID adverts, that maybe they're not going to be as powerful as they used to be. If there is another update of the long and the short of it, then maybe that will show that something else has taken over from emotional advertising. Maybe personality advertising. Who knows? It'll be fun to find out. Thanks for watching.